Oh, yeah. Wow, what's up, guys? How's it going? You know what? Give yourselves a round of applause for being out here. Yes. Well, I personally am so excited to be in Arizona here in the cold months. It is so boiling hot. It literally is reminding me of a place that nobody wants to spend their eternity. California. Yeah, listen, I know some of you are from California. You're like, no, I'm moving to Arizona now. Listen, that's fine. You can act like you're from California if you want. You can talk like you're from California. Just don't vote like you're from California here, okay? But no, we've been married, my wife and I, we've been married 6 years. Yes. Yep, so we know everything. Right? Who's been married longer than 6 years? Round of applause if you've been married longer than 6 years. Okay? All right, round of applause if you've been married longer than 20 years. Let's go for 20. Wow. 25 years? Wow. 30 years. Oh, let's just go for it. 100 years. Who's been married 100 years? No. It feels That guy cannot go home tonight. Okay. You're sleeping on the couch, but I'm proud of you and your boldness, sir. Good job. Who would say that they've been married longer than 45 years? Anybody here that long? Yes, one couple. Give them a round of applause. That's great. How long have you guys been married? It'll be 50 in October. That's amazing. How did you guys meet? A dating app? He was what? At a sister's wedding. Huh? But you're not like a sister, right? You're not like his sister. I'm just checking. Hey, congratulations on that many years. Like I said, we've been married 6 years, so if you ever need any advice, we know nothing. Nothing. My wife and I, we've been married. I love marriage. All I ever wanted to do, even when I was a kid, was be married. In fact, when I was in kindergarten, I proposed to every girl, and even they said it was too soon. It was crazy. And I just loved it so much. Before I met my wife, I was engaged twice. Yes, because comedians love callbacks. And then my wife and I got married, and I love it. There's just some things I wish I would have known before I was married that I didn't know. Like a lot of things I didn't know. For instance, did you guys know that before I was married, I was right? I was right 100% of the time. My friends used to high-five me as to how right I was. Kings and queens would parade me on the streets because I was so right. And then I got married and I heard a word I'd never heard before. Wrong. Apparently there are some things I had been doing wrong that I didn't know about. Like for instance, did you guys know that out of the 17 hand towels my wife has hung up in the bathroom, 16 of them are not to be touched? Apparently they're called show towels? I've never heard of show towels. I've heard of show horses. Who's coming into my bathroom for a show? What is this? And then this is another thing. This is a strange thing my wife does. I don't know if every couple has this, but my wife, I didn't know this was gonna be a thing. My wife will, anytime somebody's coming over to the house, my wife will go, hey, someone's coming over to the house, go clean the tub. She'd be like, honey, the Johnsons are coming over, clean the tub. the Johnsons planning on doing with my tub? What are they gonna be like? Hey, we're so excited to play canasta, but first let us take a rub-a-dub-dub in that tubby tub. I'm like, what are you doing? Who's looking at my tub? But you know, I say that, but to be honest, just recently, I went to a rich friend's house. First thing I did, look in his tub. Before you're married too, as a guy, you don't have a fashion sense in your house. You know, you probably don't even have a house. Then you get married, and your wife lets you know you have a style. My wife's style is a thing called farmhouse. Have you heard of this cult? Okay, when I originally said yes to it, it's because I didn't know what farmhouse was. I assumed she was going to a farm and she was gonna pick up some random items or something and it was gonna cost $10. Nope. No, she goes to Target, which what does Target know about farmers? Nothing. She buys a giant spoon for $60 and hangs it up on the kitchen wall. And it's a spoon I can't use. Trust me, I asked. It's like, for $60, I should be able to have an epic bowl of cereal. I can't. And then, I don't know who this Chip and Joanna are. But if they release one more exclusive throw pillow, I'm gonna sue. It's all too much. And the biggest thing is I know the secret to farmhouse, okay? I know this secret. All it is they take an item, they paint it white, they sell it for a lot of money. I'm gonna go to my tool shed. I'm gonna paint all my tools white, and I'm gonna start being rich. I'll be like, oh, this isn't just a wrench. Oh, this is a farmhouse wrench. $60. And then we just had a baby. Thank you. I did all the work. I did. Yeah, she's not here, so it's cool. We can applaud it. No, and we absolutely, it was just such a cool experience. We have 2 kids. My son was adopted. We adopted my son. And then we had my daughter just this year. And it's a totally different experience going adoption versus pregnancy, like, you know, kind of having a kid, totally different. Apparently, there's something that husbands do where we tend to gain just as much weight as the wife. And the wife does not like when the husband says, look, we weigh the same. Not exactly, not something to say. But the problem is I gained so much weight, and it wasn't just because she was pregnant, it's because all of the cravings she had, I've always wanted to try. She would literally text me and be like, hey, on your way home, can you please grab potato chips, cookies, pickles, and peanut butter, and wings? And I'm like, babe, I've been thinking about that all day. I will grab it all, I will eat it, and if there's any leftovers, you will have some. I gained so much weight that at the end of it, I realized that I needed to lose some weight. So I decided to read a book about it. Well, to be honest, it was the most millennial thing I've ever done. We call it reading a book. It's called Audible. It's where you say you read a book, but some guy's just reading it to you. And so I read this book. It was a Christian book about overeating. And I was like, boom, I'll listen to it. And so I'm driving, I'm doing comedy, I'm going on the road, and I'm listening, and I love it. I get to the end, and I'm feeling inspired. And at the very end of the book, this woman who is the narrator, and she wrote the book, she said, and that is why I wrote this book, for strong Christian women. I said, what? Strong Christian women. I did not even see that coming, and I should have saw it coming. All the hints were there. Because it was things like, do you ever just step on the scale and take your ponytail off? Like, sometimes, yeah. Like, do you ever watch soap operas while you're eating bonbons? I'm like, this lady knows me. It's crazy. It's parenting as a millennial, though, that changes everything, okay? Parenting as a millennial is so annoying. If you've ever seen a millennial parent in public, you know exactly how you should feel, which is just a complete eye roll, because we don't know how to parent as millennials, okay? We don't. Round of applause if the word spanking was a word in your household growing up. Wow. Wow, some of you guys clapped very strongly there. About as strongly as you spank, apparently. That was strong. As a millennial parentings, if you don't know this, you guys, we do not spank. We also do not do timeout. Our method, though, is way weirder and makes no sense. And it also doesn't work. I'll set up the example for you. Let's say you're in Walmart and there's a millennial, and the millennial kid is obviously in another part of Walmart, and that kid is just slapping strangers, okay? Let's imagine the kid's just slapping strangers and the millennial parent has to make a stand because it's been going on for 15 minutes. It's too long. So the millennial parent has to stop and say, hey, Tobert! Tobert, get over here. And a millennial parent, by law, you have to look them directly in the eye. Okay, you're not allowed to look down on them. That's illegal for a millennial. You gotta get down, all right? My parents never did that. Any Gen X parents here? Y'all, yes. Yeah, you guys, you never did that. You never met us at our eye level. In fact, even if you were told that you were supposed to, you would still not do this. You would make us go get a step stool. You'd be like, you have to work for this. All right, fine. So here you are, you know, the millennial parent's like, Tobert, look at me. Look at me, Tobert. You went up to that man, complete stranger. You slapped him in the face. You stole his snacks. And you punched his throat. Look at me, Tobert. Are you all caught up in your feelings? Are you? Okay, well listen, this is it. Okay, we are going, when you get home, we're going straight home and you're getting in your feelings corner. You guys are looking at me like I do that. I don't do that. But my son's name is Tobert. My son is the funniest kid that I'm terrified to be around. He's 4, so he says everything that's out of his head, that's in his head and out of his mouth immediately. And it's like you're just constantly being roasted by this kid. It was 5 in the morning. I was taking a shower. I should have been the only person in the whole household awake. And I get out of the shower, I have a towel on. My son walks into the bathroom, 5 in the morning, and he just looks at me and he goes, ew! And then he left. I didn't see the guy for 2 hours. That was his entire morning. I was like, man, all of the self-confidence that had taken me 33 years has just gotten destroyed. And the thing is, nobody's safe. Man, with him, he's 4, so he'll say something to anybody, and he loves talking to everybody. He asked the waitress the other day why she's missing a tooth. Yeah. And you know, my wife and I, we noticed it, but we're adults. We don't say anything. Adults, all of us, we don't say things. You could watch somebody walking with no legs, no arms, no head, and we still would act like it's normal. We'd be like, oh, you know, what's up? You know, it would be crazy. But him, he's like there, and he loves asking questions. When you're 4, you love asking more questions. He was trying to tell the lady, he said like, hey, can you whistle? Whistle. Like, don't tell him to whistle. This isn't dinner in to show you a little crazy person. What are you doing with the whistling? And, I wish I would have had a lot better, grace, I think, for my parents. I would have been a lot more nicer if I understood how hard sometimes parenting is. You don't have the answers as a parent. And I wish that I would be able to tell my mom, like, hey, I get it. You didn't know everything. And my dad was always so scared of things all the time, My dad would shout things because there were 4 of us kids and my mom, and my dad would shout things all the time, like, don't jump out of the stairs. Don't put your head out of the car. Don't stick your finger in the light socket. And that was all just to my mom. It's crazy. And then, as millennials, like, you're trying to figure out how to live, and we all have these different phrases millennials say. There's this phrase that millennials and Gen Z say a lot that has been coming around a lot, which is, that's ghetto. Have you heard this phrase? We say that's ghetto when it's never ghetto. Like, I was at a coffee shop, I heard a millennial in front of me, he goes, excuse me, you don't have oat milk? That's ghetto. No, that's not ghetto, okay? I'll tell you what is ghetto. You still live in your parents' basement, okay? That's ghetto. Thank you guys so much. I'm Chris Rhineland. Have a